it's a lot of people that say a lot of things, man. And, I would imagine that as a man, to the men that's in attendance right now, a lot of you would like to be, distinguished men. You know how to separate yourself from the rest of men, right?
Bitch, you want all this pimping you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but want a winner's reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimping, then bitch, you getting ignored. Okay, I'm so sick of these.
You want to be a force to be reckoned with as a man. And a lot of y'all are kind of desperate as far as that desire goes. You want to be distinguished so bad. You want to be recognized and identified so bad that you take drastic measures to reach that end. And some of the drastic measures that y'all take is like, coming on these platforms like YouTube and whatnot, and, listening to these quote unquote gurus or experts, about manhood or dealing with women or being successful and all this type of shit, right? I ain't gonna say everybody, some people have some good things to say. Some people have some valid things to say. But to be honest with you, a lot of people have a lot of bullshit to say. And they prey on your vulnerability, because that's what it is that you got with yourself. You got a vulnerability with yourself. And so you all ears to any and everybody that, will tell you what you think you want to hear. A lot of these dudes be saying a lot of bullshit, and what validates that fact that they say a lot of bullshit is just paying attention to them, right? See, this is what a lot of content creators don't understand about social media and the internet. See, when you get on here and you spend an extended period of time on here, people might not learn everything about you, but they're going to learn a lot about you. You're going to reveal a lot of who you are on these platforms, whether you realize it or not, whether you intend to or not. And, some people might not recognize when and how you reveal yourself as a content creator, but it's only a matter of time. And some content creators reveal more of themselves than they should because they just not that polished. They not that sharp, and, as we say, the truth comes to the light. So I say all that to say a lot of these people expose themselves sooner than later, right? And these are people that a lot of y'all, you hang on their every word. And, they not going to tell you what you need to hear. And a big part of the reason why they not going to tell you what you need to hear is because they need to hear the same thing that you need to hear. It's just like they say in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. You might be blind and he got one eye, but y'all still need to hear the same shit, right? But because he got one eye, he could see a little bit more, and he could see, some things that you can't see. So therefore he's able to, manipulate you and capitalize off of you, right? It's obviously a lot of fraudulent things within that. It's a lot of fraudulent activity. It's a lot of fraudulent things being said and done, right? So, one thing that's going to separate you, right, as a man, first and foremost, especially in 2026, because nobody likes themselves, and therefore everybody is trying to be somebody who they not. They trying to be everything but themselves. What's the main thing that's going to separate you as a man from most men is just being the truth. Just being the truth, man. Just being honest. And before you can be the truth to anybody else, you have to be the truth to yourself. Right. And, it sounds very simple, but a lot of people have a big problem doing that. A lot of people are very challenged when it comes to that, right? Being the truth to themselves before they can be the truth to anybody else. It's, we live in a time where there's more distractions now than ever. There's never been a time where we've been more distracted as a people, especially in America, right? It's so many distractions everywhere you go, everywhere you look, everywhere, everything that you do, everything that you get involved in. Whenever you pick this shit up and open it, your phone, it's a million distractions, right? So what a lot of people don't realize is the more you allow yourself to be distracted, the further you drift away in a lot of cases from being the truth, especially to yourself. It's a lot of y'all that need to work on certain things personally, but you never give yourself the time to do that because you stay distracted by your phone and just these different devices and, and sometimes different people that you ain't got no business engaging with or being involved with whatsoever, right? But that's one thing that you have to understand. You got to be the truth to yourself. And again, back to a lot of these content creators, you listening to them and they not the truth to themselves. So how can they be the truth to you? A lot of these guys are not the message that they bring, as Andre Taylor would say. These guys are not the message that they bring. And, if you don't know any better, you're not going to be able to recognize that shit. And you're not going to know any better and be able to recognize that shit if you're not being the truth to yourself. See, when you the truth to yourself, it serves as a protection to you, right? It protects you from lame individuals. It protects you from con artists. It protects you from bullshit ass people when you being the truth to yourself, right? But when you're not being the truth to yourself, and it's not like you don't intend to be the truth to yourself, but again, when you allow yourself to be so distracted, you standing for less, which means you're going to fall for more, right? You're not taking time to invest in yourself physically, mentally, or spiritually. So, you want somebody else to do it for you. You want somebody else to give you the answers to shit that, you should figure out the answers to for yourself through trial and error, through living life, through experience, and that's another thing too. A lot of y'all seek answers from these different people because you afraid to go through it to get to it. And that's the best way to get to it, is to go through it to get to it. But a lot of y'all don't want to go through it to get to it. You want certain things that you don't want to be responsible for. And that's just real. You want things that you don't want to be responsible for. You want to be, a distinguished man. You want to be somebody that's respected and recognized and admired and just all these different things, but you don't want to be responsible for that shit. You just want it to come. You just want it to be like a TV dinner. You just pop the shit in the microwave for a few minutes and then here you go. Now you got all this shit that you always wanted. And, again, the evidence of that is how you go about reaching these, I guess you could say, goals. You don't go about reaching these goals through work and, putting yourself to the test. You go about reaching these goals by, hitting other people up for the answers. And it's one thing to, seek help on how to do certain things, but it's another thing when you just want everything done for you. You want somebody else to sculpt and mold your manhood. And it ain't gonna never work like that. And again, because you don't understand that you need to be the truth to yourself before you can be the truth to anybody else, you operating outside the truth. So again, you standing for less, so you falling for more. You falling for these grifters, as they call them, right? But the bottom line that you need to understand, man, is that you got to be the truth to yourself, right? And sometimes when you being the truth to yourself, especially when you're just coming into the idea of being the truth to yourself, you ain't gonna like what you facing. Like I done said before, you know, a lot of y'all need to look at the mirror within yourself. You know, just imagine, and I've said this before, you know, and some of y'all who done been locked up in certain county jails and shit like that, you can relate to what I'm about to say. But just imagine running around every day and not being able to see what your face looks like, neglecting your face as a man. You know, for a woman, that would be kind of crazy too, but especially for a man, you know, we grow facial hair. You know, we like to keep our hair cut or hair styled or edged up or whatever, or clean cut, whatever. You know what I mean? We like to be well groomed as men. But just imagine if you just was running around for weeks and months and years and you never look at your face. You don't have no mirror available, no camera available. So therefore you just ain't looking at your face at all. You just getting up, going, moving around, and you not looking at your face at all. Eventually, much sooner than later, you're going to look a damn fool. And, you know, you won't even know the truth about your face and what it looks like. And people might tell you different things, but because everybody got different interpretations of shit, you know, you ain't gonna never know what you look like based on what other people was telling you. And for your face, you know what I mean? For you to be the truth to yourself before you can be the truth to anybody else, you know, that's what that mirror is for, right? So that you can know what your face is like, and so that you can you know, maintain your face and present your face at its best, you need a mirror. And you got to look at that mirror daily, often. You know what I mean? Multiple times a day. Me, myself, I love the mirror. You know what I mean? The physical mirror I'm talking about. I love looking at myself, man. I love, you know, keeping myself groomed and all that type of shit, man. I love that shit. You know? And on the same token, you know, just like I just broke down the theory of, you know, you not being able to look at your face, or just not necessarily not being able to, but just for whatever reason, you ain't looking at your face every day and you just going out moving around. A lot of y'all are doing that internally. You're not looking at yourself internally. You're not looking at your character. You're not looking at your personality. You know, you're not looking at your principles. You're not looking at your values. You're not looking at what drives you. The things that motivate you to do what you do, or the things that distract you from doing what you should be doing or want to be doing but ain't doing. Right? You know, you're not doing any introspection. You're not taking any inventory of who you are and what you are, where you at right now, where you coming from, where you supposed to go. You're not doing none of that. But you want somebody else to give you the answers, though. So, you know, man, once you finally grasp that concept and take a look at yourself, you're going to be like, damn, it's going to be like going into an abandoned house that ain't nobody stepped inside of in 20 years. It's going to be cobwebs and dust everywhere. Shit going to be out of order, rearranged. It's probably going to be a bunch of garbage. You know what I mean? The yard, the weeds is going to be 20 feet high, all that type of shit. That's how some of y'all look on the inside right now, mentally and shit, even physically. We going to get there in a minute, though, as far as the physical part, but we talking about, you know, mentally mainly, right? Yeah, man. A lot of y'all on the inside, man, you look like an old abandoned house right now. Yeah, you know what I mean? With boarded up windows and, you know, doors broken off the hinges and all type of shit, just neglecting yourself, man. And, you know, like I said, before you could be the truth to anybody else, you got to be the truth to yourself. And when you learn how to be the truth to yourself and then from there be the truth to everybody else, you know, that's going to distinguish you as a man. That there alone. Because what you got to understand is, just like you, a lot of these dudes, the majority of these dudes don't know they self and don't like they self.
Let's go. You see, the God anointed game appointed PI since knee high. Knew that God appointed me to be fly. My reply to the blessing, only one decision for me, man, to integrated and demonstrated. It's obligatory. Okay. So begins the story. These blessings I'm not in tune with.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Baby, yeah,